Now let's learn the making method for each accessory. Start with the facial features. First, outline the eye sockets. Consider the side with slip stitch marks on the head as the wrong side. The eye sockets are roughly at round 14 on the right side. Between the two eye sockets, there should be an interval of about 5 single crochets. Find the middle 5 stitches. You can mark it with a pin. Cut a longer segment of the remaining yarn tail from the main piece. Thread it into a darning needle. Insert the needle from any position on the back of the head. And bring it out at the corresponding position on the front. Pull out part of the yarn tail. Insert the needle at an adjacent position. And pull it out on the left side. Insert the needle again at an adjacent position. And pull it out at the same position on the back. Tighten the yarn tail. Tie the two yarn tails in a double knot. This will secure the eye socket. For the excess yarn tail at the back, trim it off, leaving a small portion. Next, attach the eyes in the eye socket position. Apply glue to the back side of the eyes. Align the bottom of the eyes with the middle of the 16th round. Leave a space of 4 stitches between the two eyes. The eyes are now securely attached. Next, sew on the nose and mouth. Cut a piece of yarn that matches the yarn tail. Pull out 2 strands. Thread them through the tapestry needle. Position the nose at the bottom edge of the eyes, aligning with the middle of this round. Insert from the back of the head. And pull out at the corresponding position. between 2 single crochets. Sew 3 times. Pay attention to the insertion point each time. It should be slightly below the previous one, and a little narrower than the last. This completes the nose. Next, sew the mouth. Insert the needle from the middle of the nose and come out below it. Leaving one round of single crochets between them. Insert into the middle of the next round of single crochets and come out at the right lower corner, skipping 1 single crochet on the right side. Then insert back into the middle position and come out at the symmetrical position. Don't pull the yarn too tight here, leaving a curved lip shape. Use the same method to sew the other lip. Exit from behind the head. And tie the beginning and ending yarn tails in a double knot. Pay attention not to pull too tight here. Hide the excess yarn tails inside the head. Then use glue to secure the curved lip. The mouth is now sewn up. The facial features are now complete. Finally, apply blush below the eyes. Next, let's make the hair. Here's the finished product. The hair consists of the scalp and hair strands, 2 parts in total. First, let's learn the crochet method for the scalp. The scalp starts with an ajuste ball magic ring. Crochet in rounds. Note, for the last 2 rounds, work into the front loops only. The technique is quite simple. Refer to the chart to complete them. Do not fasten off when finished. I won't demonstrate it here. After completing the scalp, crochet the hair strands along the outer edge. Let's look at the finished product. The hair strands consist of 2 layers. The first layer is attached to the scalp. The second layer is crocheted onto the remaining loops of the second round of the scalp. The new stitch used is T-half double crochet. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific crochet method. Crochet along the outer edge of the scalp. Start with the first strand. Crochet 14 chains. Dow 2. Begin from the second to last chain. Start crocheting slip stitches. Pick up 1 strand of yarn above the chain. Work 1 slip stitch. The slip stitch here does not need to be tightened. Continue corresponding 1 by 1 downwards. Pick up 1 strand of yarn above the chain. Crochet 4 more slip stitches. After completing them, crochet 8 single crochets. Then skip 1 stitch. On the second stitch from the head, work 1 slip stitch. Tighten it. The first hair strand is now completed. For the second strand, crochet in the same way. Complete all of them. Finally, on the adjacent stitch from the head, work 1 slip stitch. Tighten it. The second strand is now completed. Next, move on to the third strand. Crochet 21 chains. Start from the second to last braid. Refer to the chart. Crochet the corresponding number of slip stitches. And single crochets. After completing them, next is 5T, which means to crochet 5 half double crochets. Yarn over once, insert into the adjacent braid. Yarn over, draw the yarn through. You should have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over again, and draw through all the loops on the hook in one go. 1 half double crochet is now completed. Continue crocheting half double crochets. Yarn over once. Insert the hook. Draw through. Yarn over and pull through all loops on the hook. Another half double crochet is completed. Follow the pattern correspondingly from here on. Pick up the strand above the braid to crochet a half double crochet. Complete them all. After finishing, work into the adjacent stitch on the top row. Make 1 slip stitch. Pull tight. The third row is now completed. For the fourth row, use the crocheting method. It is identical to the third row. After completing it, on the left side of the top row, separated by 1 stitch, join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. The fourth row is now completed. For the following 5th to 12th strands, refer to the chart for crocheting the corresponding number of stitches. After completing each strand, on the scalp, separated by 1 stitch, crochet a slip stitch. After completing the 13th and 14th strands, join with a slip stitch into adjacent stitches on the scalp. No need to separate with a stitch. After completion, fasten off normally. The method is quite simple. You can finish them on your own. I won't demonstrate this part here. I'll use this small sample to demonstrate the method for making the second layer of hair strands. Let's take a look at the fabric piece. Since the last 2 rounds of the scalp are crocheted into the front loops of the picked up stitches, the back loops form like this, creating continuous small line segments one by one. With the right side of the top row facing you, locate the first layer and find the shortest strands on it. On the rightmost side, behind this short strand, corresponding to the back loop of the second round stitch on the scalp, join the yarn. This is where the small line segment is. Then start from this position and crochet the first strand according to the chart. After completing it, skip a small line segment and join with a slip stitch on the next segment. Pull tight. Continue using this method for the remaining rows. Crochet each of the remaining strands one by one. Fasten off normally when done. The method is quite simple, so I won't demonstrate it. You can see that. This is what the 2-layer sample of the hair strands looks like when completed. After finishing both layers, use a crochet hook to pull all the yarn tails to the right side of the fabric. Hide them along the texture of the fabric. Trim off any excess. Follow this method to hide the rest of the yarn tails on your own. This way, the hair is completed. Next, secure the hair above the head. Place the right side of the hair facing the head. This means the first layer of the hair strands should be facing downward. First, slip it over the head and determine the position. Place the first layer, specifically the 2 shorter hair strands, in the middle of the front of the head. You can use pins to secure them in place. Then, unfold the rest of the hair strands in the first layer and distribute them roughly, evenly on the head. Secure them with pins. Adjust the position as you pin. For the second layer of hair strands, stagger them from the first layer. After arranging the longer hair at the back, make sure to apply glue on the right side of the hair strands, where the hair strands will be attached. Secure them to the head. Continue securing all the way to the position at the bottom of the head where you start decreasing stitches. That is, from this hole outward. About 7 rounds of single crochet. After securing the hair strands at the back, slightly secure the scalp as well. Next, secure the shorter hair strands at the front. Start with the facial side. And secure the 2 longer hair strands in the first layer. Follow the contour of the face to create this curve. And then secure it. Secure it all the way to the position at the bottom of the head where you start decreasing stitches. On the other side, secure it using the same method. Then, for the second layer, this shorter hair strand, follow along the edges of the 2 hair strands from the first layer, going downward, and then bend it backward, and secure it above these 2 hair strands. Pay attention, don't secure the hair ends. On the other side, secure it using the same method. Finally, take these two shortest hair strands and divide them to both sides following the curve. There's no need to secure them. This way, the hair is secured well. Next, let's learn the making method for the clothes. The dress consists of the skirt, the sleeves, the slip stitch stripes, the lace trim, and the small pom-poms. First, let's learn the crochet method for the skirt. The skirt starts with a chain ring method. Then, crochet in rounds. While crocheting, you need to create the armhole. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific crochet technique. Start with 18 chains. Join with a slip stitch in the first chain to form a circle. This means chaining 18 first. Then work a slip stitch into the first chain. This forms a circle with the chains. Chain 18 first. Then work a slip stitch into the first chain. Note: make sure not to twist the chains. Keep all the right sides of the chains facing up. Align the beginning and ending like this. Place the starting yarn tail on top of the ending yarn tail. Insert the crochet hook from the outside in through the back loop of the first chain. Work one slip stitch. Pull tight. Gently pull the starting yarn tail slightly. After completing, check to ensure that the starting chains are not twisted. This forms a flat circle. The casting on is now complete. Next, work the first round. Start with one chain. Then insert the hook into the back loop of the corresponding chain. Work one single crochet. As you go, secure the starting yarn tail. Continue working one single crochet in each stitch, inserting the hook into the top loop of each chain stitch. Finish this round. Join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet. Pull tight. The first round is now complete. For the second and third rounds, the crocheting method is quite simple. Refer to the chart to crochet the corresponding stitches. Please complete these 2 rounds on your own. I will not demonstrate them. For the 4th round, you need to create the armhole. I'll demonstrate using this sample. First, crochet 8 single crochets. Then, make 3 chains. Skip the next 8 stitches on the left side. Crochet 1 single crochet into the 9th stitch. Continue crocheting single crochets downward. Complete the corresponding number of stitches. Once finished, make another 3 chains. Skip the next 8 stitches. Start crocheting single crochets from the 9th stitch. Complete the remaining stitches. Once finished, join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet. Pull tight. The 4th round is now complete. Now, the armholes are formed. For the 5th round, crochet single crochets evenly. When you reach the chain stitch position, pick up the chain braid for the strand above. Work single crochets into each stitch. Continue down to complete them. The 5th round is now complete. The crochet method for the remaining part below is relatively simple. Refer to the chart and crochet the corresponding stitches. Everyone can finish the remaining part of the dress on their own. After completing the last round, there's no need to join with a slip stitch. I'll demonstrate the method too. Break the yarn using this sample swatch. Enlarge the loop. Leave about 10 centimeters of yarn tail. Cut the yarn. Thread the yarn tail into a darning needle. Insert the needle into the adjacent stitch, which is the first single crochet stitch, and pull it through. Then, insert the needle back into the same stitch, where the yarn tail is. Exit from the middle of the stitch. Slightly tighten the yarn. As you can see, after securing the yarn tail this way, there are no obvious marks on the surface. The texture looks much neater. Secure the remaining yarn tail on the wrong side of the piece. The sample dress is now complete. Next, we will crochet the sleeves. Make sure the right side of the dress faces out, with the neckline facing up, on any side of the sleeve cap. At these 3 chain stitch positions, pick up the middle chain stitch. Join the new yarn here. Start with 1 chain stitch. Then, below the chain, work 1 single crochet in the corresponding position. Continue by picking up the left chain stitch position and working 1 single crochet. Now you have reached the connection between the chain and the stitch. Pick up the 2 strands on the edge of this single crochet. Work 1 single crochet. Now you have reached the skipped stitch position. Work 8 single crochets, picking up each stitch to correspond. After completing, pick up the connecting single crochet, and work 1 single crochet. Finally, pick up the chain stitch position, and work 1 single crochet. Then join with the first stitch using a slip stitch. Pull tight. The first round is complete. Follow the pattern in the table for the remaining rounds. Crochet the remaining rounds of the sleeve. After completing, follow the dress. Demonstration for breaking the yarn to fasten off. Weave in the ends on your own. This way, one sleeve is completed. Follow the same method to crochet the other sleeve. I will not repeat the demonstration. Next, add slip stitch stripes to the dress. Take out the corresponding yarn. Make a slip knot with the yarn tail. Ensure the right side of the garment faces out. At the middle of either neckline. Start at this chain stitch position to join the yarn. Insert the hook into this chain stitch position. Draw the slip knot through from the inside of the garment. Slightly tidy up. The yarn tail should be on the underside of the fabric. Next, insert the hook into the corresponding stitch in the next round. Draw the yarn through. Pull through the loop on the hook. One chain stitch is now completed. Continue down the middle of this side. Along this column of stitches, work 1 slip stitch for each stitch going down. Continue until the last round of stitches at the hem. Once completed, pull up a large loop. Leave a tail of about 5 centimeters, then fasten off. Pull the yarn tail to the wrong side of the fabric. Weave in the end following the texture of the slip stitches. You can weave in a few extra stitches before cutting off any excess. The starting yarn tail should also be woven in using the same method. One slip stitch stripe is now completed. Continue using the same method. Starting from the adjacent chain stitch position at the neckline, to crochet the second slip stitch stripe. For the beginning stitches of the second stripe, the distance from the first stripe gradually increases. Until there are 3 single crochets apart in the middle. Follow this column of stitches downward. And crochet in the same manner, and the last round of stitches at the hem of the skirt. After completion, weave in the ends on your own. The second slip stitch stripe is now completed. Following this method, crochet 7 slip stitch stripes correspondingly on both the front and back of the skirt. Pay attention to the stripes near the sleeves. For the beginning stitches, you can follow the armhole edge downward, and then gradually increase the distance as you reach the underarm. Eventually, on both the front and back below, all the stripes should be roughly evenly distributed. The method is quite simple. Please complete them on your own. I will not repeat the demonstration. After all the slip stitch stripes are completed, sew lace trim inside the hem of the skirt. Locate the side of the skirt with the slip stitch marks, which will be the back of the dress. Start from near the slip stitch join position. Along the sewing line of the lace trim and the inside of the skirt. Secure it to the third round from the end. Cut a segment of the remaining yarn from the toy body crocheting. Thread one strand into the darning needle. And bring the needle out from the corresponding position. Leave a tail end. When sewing, pay attention to ensure the yarn tail does not come through to the right side of the fabric. As you sew, fold to create a section of pleats. The specific number and width of the pleats can vary. Adjust according to your preference. Once completed, trim any excess lace trim. Save the remaining lace trim for later use. Tie off the yarn tails at both ends and weave them in. The lace trim is now sewn on. Finally, locate the back of the garment. In the middle, below the stripe pattern, join with a slip stitch. Attach the small pom-poms. The bottom edge of the pom-poms should be a little distance from the hem of the skirt. Make sure they are securely glued. Up to this point, the making method for the clothes has been fully explained. You can now place the garment over the main body. Mindful to align the side with pom-poms to correspond with the back. Make sure not to put it on inside out. Next, let's make the scarf. The scarf consists of a crochet piece, decorations, and a lace trim collar. These three parts. Let's start with the scarf crochet piece. The piece is divided into section 1, section 2, and section 3. Section 3 is crocheted on both sides of section 1 and section 2. In the chart, F represents a double crochet. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific crocheting method. Let's start with section 1 of the scarf. Begin with a foundation chain of 12 stitches. I've already made this foundation chain in advance. Start from the second braid from the end and work 3 single crochets. Pick up the 2 strands of the braid like this to crochet. Then, make 5 chains. Skip the next 5 braids below without crocheting. Start from the 6th braid and work 3 more single crochets. That completes the first row. This row is the right side of the piece. You can see the texture of the single crochets on the right side. Now, let's move on to the second row. Begin with 1 chain stitch as the turning chain. Turn the work piece. Note that you need to turn it counterclockwise. Start from the stitch on the lower left. Work single crochets evenly without increasing or decreasing. When you reach the chain stitch position, pick up the braids of the chains. Finish this row. The second row is now completed. Now, let's move on to the third row. Start with 1 chain as the beginning chain. Turn the work piece counterclockwise. Pick up the stitches and work single crochets evenly without increasing or decreasing. The third row is now completed. For the next section, continue working back and forth. Crochet single crochets evenly without increasing or decreasing. Continue until you complete the corresponding number of rows. After completing, fasten off normally. The method is quite simple. Everyone can finish them on their own. I won't demonstrate this part here. Next, I'll teach you how to count rows. Count from the right side, and you will see the odd numbered rows. The texture on the right side is from the single crochets. The even numbered rows show the texture on the wrong side. Count the rows by alternating between the right and wrong sides. Avoid counting the chain stitch positions. Start counting from either side. 1, 2, 3, 4. My sample swatch already has 4 rows. This is how you count rows. Up to this point, the crocheting method for section 1 of the scarf has been explained. After completing section 1 of the scarf, move on to work on section 2. Let me demonstrate with this sample swatch. Turn the wrong side of section 1 towards you. From the starting point on the right side, join the new yarn to the first chain stitch loop. Work single crochets by picking up the remaining strand on the chain. When you reach the chain stitch position, pick up the 2 strands of yarn from above the chain and crochet. After completing this row, the first row is done. The crocheting method going forward is the same as for section 1 of the scarf, which means crocheting back and forth in rows. Work even with single crochets until you complete the corresponding number of rows. Note that when counting rows here, start from the row above the chain stitch position. The method is quite simple. Everyone can finish crocheting section 2 of the scarf on their own. Don't cut the yarn after completion. I won't demonstrate this part. After completing section 2, we will move on to crochet section 3 of the scarf, starting from the ending position of the last row of section 2. First make 3 chains as the beginning chain for double crochet, then rotate the piece. You can see the side of the fabric now. It's like this, a row of single crochet along the edge. Each edge of single crochet corresponds to 1 row of single crochet. Pick up this row of single crochet edges and crochet downwards. Start with 1 double crochet. Yarn over. Insert the hook into the first row of single crochet edge. Yarn over again. Draw the yarn through. At this point, there are 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. Now there are 2 loops left on the hook. Yarn over again, pull through these 2 loops. 1 double crochet is now complete. Above to the right of the stitch, there is a V shape formed by 2 yarns. That's the stitch of this double crochet. Continue making double crochets in the adjacent single crochet edges on the left side. Yarn over. Insert the hook into the loop. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. There are 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over. Pull the yarn through the first 2 loops. Repeat this 2 more times. 1, 2. The second double crochet is now complete. Continue to work 3 more double crochets into each stitch. Then work 4 half double crochets. Work 14 single crochets. Note, between section 1 and section 2, add 1 extra stitch in the middle. After completing, work 4 half double crochets symmetrically. And work 5 double crochets. This completes the short edge on this side. Finally, work 3 chains. Join with a slip stitch into the base of the last double crochet. Then cut the yarn. This side of section 3 of the scarf is now complete. Next, rotate the piece. On the other side of the same face of the piece, join the yarn in the rightmost stitch. Then, following the same method, crochet another section 3. The technique is identical to the previous one. You can finish crocheting them on your own. I won't demonstrate this part. Now, take a look. This is the sample swatch, showing what it looks like with both sections 3 completed. Next, we will add decorations to the scarf piece. Let's look at the finished product. The decorations include edging and slip stitch stripes. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific making method. First, let's crochet the edging. Take the corresponding yarn with the right side of section 3 facing you. Join the yarn at the rightmost stitch of section 3 on any side. Start with 1 chain stitch. Crochet 1 single crochet into the joining position. Secure the yarn tail as you crochet. Work into each stitch in sequence, picking up stitches to crochet single crochets until you finish this edge. Now we are at this position. Pick up the large space of the chain on the side of section 3 and crochet 1 single crochet, 1 chain, and 2 single crochets. Now we are on this side. Continue to pick up the stitches on the left side, working single crochets into each stitch in sequence. Pay attention to securing the yarn tails as you crochet. Now we are back at the side of section 3. First, pick up the large space of the chain, and crochet 2 single crochets symmetrically. 1 chain, and 1 single crochet. Now we are at the stitch position in section 3. Pick up the stitches and work single crochets correspondingly. Continue following this method, completing this round symmetrically. After finishing the last single crochet, fasten off the yarn using the method for the dress. Weave in the ends. The edging of the scarf is now completed. Next, on section 1 and section 2 of the scarf, crochet stripes with slip stitches respectively. Start by crocheting vertical stripes. Work into the large loop of the chain in the middle. This corresponds to the column with the braid in the center. Then crochet horizontal stripes. Begin from any section. At the large loop of the chain in the middle, count up from the single crochets above it, and work between the 7th row of single crochets and the 8th row of single crochets. Use the same method as for the slip stitch stripes on the garment. The method is the same. Everyone can finish them on their own. I won't demonstrate it. Next, add V-shaped embroidery. Let's look at the finished product. Take the scarf piece and fold it in half at the position of the large loop of the chain in the middle. This opening will be the neckline of the scarf. The front and back pieces of the scarf are identical. The slip stitch stripes divided into 4 squares. The V-shaped embroidery is in the top left and bottom right squares. Each square has 5 V's embroidered. There are 2 at the top and bottom, and 1 in the middle. Each row of V's is separated by a row of single crochets. On the other side, the direction is opposite. It remains symmetrical. I'll use this sample to demonstrate the method for embroidering the V's. Cut a longer piece of the remaining edging yarn. Thread 2 strands through a darning needle. Take the darning needle from the row above this square at the corresponding position and insert it from the wrong side. So once more to secure it. Then take the darning needle and bring it out at the corresponding position of a V's tip. And then insert it again just next to where it came out. Come out a short distance above to the right. Place the yarn underneath the needle. And pull it through. Adjust the tension. Then take the darning needle from outside the loop, just a bit, and insert it to the wrong side. Follow the same method to embroider the left half. This completes one V-stitch. Then carry the yarn across on the wrong side to embroider the next V-stitch. Continue following this method, and place it as previously explained. To complete the remaining V-stitches, I will not continue demonstrating this. Next, sew acrylic rhinestones into the remaining spaces. Cut a piece of yarn, in the same color as the acrylic rhinestones. Thread a gold needle with 2 strands of yarn. First, sew a couple of stitches on the wrong side of the fabric to secure it. Then, position the tip of the acrylic rhinestone downward and sew it into the middle of the space. Sew through both holes of the acrylic rhinestone. After completing, tie a double knot on the wrong side to secure it. Weave in the ends to hide the yarn tails. This completes one acrylic rhinestone. Follow the same method to sew the remaining acrylic rhinestones. The method is quite simple, so I won't demonstrate it. Next, we will make the lace trim collar. Cut a piece of thread that matches the lace trim color. Thread 1 strand into a gold needle. Tie a knot at the bottom. Take out the lace trim. Insert the needle and thread through the lace trim. Then fold the lace trim by about 1.5 centimeters. And sew it down. Continue following this method. Fold one by one into pleats that are about 1.5 centimeters wide. Sew them down as you go. Pay attention to keeping the folding direction consistent. Keep sewing until you finish the lace trim. Once done, thread the lace back through its starting position. Make sure it doesn't twist. This will form a loop. Adjust the size of the loop. So that it can easily fit over the protruding area on top of the body. Make sure it fits snugly but comfortably. Finally, tie a double knot with the yarn tail. Then thread it to the other side of the lace collar. Next, thread and secure the other side of the pleated lace to keep it in place. Lastly, leave the front circle with an identical length. Tie a double knot to secure it. Trim any excess yarn tails. That's how you finish the lace trim collar. Take out the main piece. Put the scarf on the body, along with the lace trim collar. Then insert the head into the body. Pay attention to the front and back. This completes the scarf entirely. Next, we'll make the hat. Let's take a look at the finished product. The hat consists of Section 1, Section 2, and Section 3. Section 2, the ears and half beads decorations. These are the main parts that make up the hat. Start by crocheting Section 1 and Section 2. The colors and stitch counts differ between the two sections. Both sections start with the adjust ball magic ring. Work in rounds as you crochet upwards. Start with Section 3, then crochet Section 1, followed by Section 2. Join Section 1 and Section 2 on the last round of Section 2. I'll demonstrate this with a sample swatch. This shows the crochet method for the last round of Section 2. The sample has fewer stitches and rounds for demonstration purposes. It's just to illustrate the technique. Place the wrong sides of Section 1 and Section 2 together. Place Section 1 inside Section 2. Align the joining positions. Match up the edges. Have the right side of Section 2 facing you. Continue crocheting from the previous round's position. Start with one chain stitch as the beginning chain, then insert the hook through both the front stitch of the bottom piece and the corresponding stitch at the back, and make one single crochet. Pick up both the front and back pieces as you go. Crochet into the corresponding stitches. Since the back piece has fewer stitches than the front, adjust the position of the front and back pieces while crocheting. Keep the edges roughly aligned. Pick up the stitches from the front piece, one stitch to another, as you crochet. For the back piece, randomly insert into the corresponding position stitches. Pay attention to maintaining the alignment of the front and back pieces. Lay flat and match up. Work the entire round. Complete the last single crochet stitch. Fasten off the yarn using the method for breaking yarn at the hem. The method is quite simple, so I won't demonstrate it. This completes Section 1 and Section 2. And they are now connected. Next, we will make the ears. Let's take a look at the finished product. The ears consist of two identical pieces. After crocheting is finished, sew them to the corresponding positions. Here, I have already crocheted a small sample of the ear. Finally, leave a 30 cm yarn tail, and break the yarn. Thread the yarn tail into a darning needle. Place the beginning chain of the ear facing up. Follow the slip stitch marks and press it flat. Then fold the bottom of the ear in half. Sew it together at the last round to secure it. Pull tight. Next, take out the pieces from Section 1 and Section 2. Place the side with the slip stitch marks as the back. Have the front facing towards you. Sew the ears onto the top of the hat, approximately between the 6th round and the 7th round. Align the two ears with the starting point. On the same line, the indented side should face forward. You can first determine the exact positions for the ears. Then sew along the last round of the ears. Match and sew together corresponding to the head. Adjust the position as you sew, to prevent sewing it crooked. After completing, tie off and hide the yarn tails on your own. The method is quite simple, so I won't demonstrate it. This completes sewing one ear. For the other ear, follow the same method, and sew it in the symmetrical position. I will not demonstrate this part. Everyone, take a look. This is what the sample ear looks like after it's sewn together. After completing the sewing, apply blush to the indented area of the ear. And the ear is finished. Finally, attach half beads as decorations on the hat. The exact number and position of the decorations are not fixed. Refer to the finished product, or place them according to your own preference. Once everything is completely attached, place the hat on the doll's head. You can use pins that match the color of the half beads to secure it. Finally, apply a little blush to the tips of the doll's feet. Up to this point, this doll is completely finished. If you have any questions during the process, don't hesitate to reach us via our website, Susan's Family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you all for watching. We will see you in the next episode.